America, it's time for the Ringside Wranglers Dirt Sheet with your host, Haz-Bin and Jack Jaw.
What's up, wrestling fans? It is Hell in a Cell Sunday. We got the Dirt Sheet coming at you with the Ringside Wranglers. I got Haz-Bin in the house. What's up, Haz-Bin?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just 1 hour away from the pre-show of the Hell in a Cell, the Rage in the Cage, the Jam in the Jail Cell. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome. But guess what? We've got a preview to the show. But like always, we've got dirt in pro wrestling. Let's get straight to the top. We've got somebody apologizing for Vince. That's got to be some dirt. We've got a possible romantic angle with none other than Charly. We've got someone wants no part of being on the WWE Raw creative team. Wonder who that would be. We've got who passed on Braun Strowman. What a lunatic. We've got it's over, but whose idea was Raw Underground anyways? We're going to find that one out. Is the Deadman coming back? It looks like he is. And we've got real life tension. Seth Rollins, Matt, you know that one. And then we've got, how about this one? We've got Bust This. We've got a banned move, and it's back. We got rumors for Hell in a Cell, and we've got the latest Hell in a Cell card. So let's just go straight to the top. Like I said, somebody in this world was apologizing for none other than Vincent Kennedy McMahon. There he is right there. We all know that look. That look means what? Somebody's getting fired. Well, it looks like when he gave that look right there to none other than Jim Ross, who would have thought this? Linda McMahon reached out to Jim and said, guess what? This is all up to Vince. I'm sorry we got to do this, but Vince says, you're fired. You remember that when that went down?
Oh, yeah. I sure that didn't feel too good for the family, for Mr. Ross. But, yeah, I remember it quite well.
Who would have thought Linda McMahon would have been jumping out there doing the pre-call saying, hey, man, sorry we got to do this. I bet you Vince wouldn't have liked that one.
No,
he was saying,
probably not.
No. Next up, we got a little possible romantic angle with Charly Caruso. Look at her little body hot self right there. She is the yeah, you're looking at that. I saw your eyes perk up right there. There she is right there. Rumor has it that she possibly could be having a romantic angle. They teased it once before with none other than Angel Garza right there. I'm not so sure they should take her away from being the announcer / interviewer into an actual character on the show. What do you think, Haz-Bin? No?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was a little distracted there for a second. I actually like it. I kind of like when they get the interviewers involved, especially beautiful young ladies that do the commentary, because it gives them a chance to get involved in the storyline. And this would definitely put Angel Garza over. I mean, he's a talented athlete. We talked about the Garza family, how great. Oh, how's it going, brother? Good to see you again. Great wrestling family, the Garzas. We talked about that last week. Having her be his valet, if you will, no different than DDP and Kimberly and Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, and we can go all the way down. So, yeah, I mean, with someone that looks like that, you damn right I want to have that on my shoulder going to ringside. You best believe it.
That would be good. But either way, apparently they didn't have a good chemistry going on, so they kind of squelched that. So maybe that may circle back around and Charly could be in some kind of love romantic angle. Who knows? I guess the writers, and we'll get to that in a minute on the writers. But look at this. Somebody said, I want nothing to do with being on the Raw creative team. You had none other than who got kicked out of the show and put on SmackDown? Paul Heyman. He was part of the creative team. They squelched him. Stephanie McMahon, she was talking to her husband saying, you need to take over the show and make it a little bit better. He was like, I want nothing to do with that. I don't want my name to be on that as far as when it goes down. He wants nothing to do with it. That's what I'm thinking. But either way, none other than Bruce Pritchard, he stepped in, and I think he's doing an okay job. What do you think?
You know, when you got inmates that run the asylum, the last thing those inmates want to do is be an actual part of the asylum. They'd rather be a renegade, a rogue, if you will. They don't want anything legally to do with it. So I can't blame the man for wanting to do it. Bruce Pritchard's doing fine, but I'm not going to lie to you. We talked about this last week. Paul Heyman is a genius, no matter what you think about him. And I honest to God believe that he will be a part. He is a part of it, and he will still be a part of Raw and SmackDown until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. I believe that. He might not have the credit on the executive producer and all the street cred and everything for the programming, but it doesn't matter because behind the scenes, everybody and their mother knows that when you see a really good storyline, there's a 9 times out of 10 chance that Paul Heyman had something to do with it. And that's just credit where credit's due. The man's a genius. It goes back to his days when he was in WCW with the original Man Express and everything he did with ECW, and everything the man's done has been touched to gold. Sometimes you have a person that is just a gem, a diamond in the rough, if you will, going some DDP talk. And I think that Paul Heyman is a diamond in the rough. And I don't care how old he is. I don't care what you want to say. He's like a fine wine. He gets better with age. He gets better as the weeks and years and months go by. And that's a fact.
Well, there's a reason why I bookend the next little bit of dirt with that one right there, because none other than Paul Heyman, it can be on the record that he passed on Braun Strowman. He was more into the Angel Garza, the Aleister Black. He was more into those characters right there, and he was going to do a pass on Braun Strowman. What a mistake there. He missed the buck on that one. What do you think about that? Are you ready?
What I think about it is what is Braun Strowman doing now?
Well, he's a beast, man.
He's not in the Wyatt family anymore. He's taking on, my good buddy Richard T. Smith's twin, and that's fine. But I mean, I understand what his point is. You want to prepare for the future that's going to be 10, 20 years down the line. Your Seth Rollins, your Angel Garzas, your Street Profits, and folks like that. I mean, no disrespect for Braun Strowman. I mean, he's doing his thing, but I mean, I can't fault Paul Heyman for that. I mean, when you got, that's like telling Tom Brady that he shouldn't have thrown a pass on 3rd down and he should have ran the ball. I mean, the dude's got 6 Super Bowls, man. It ain't for me to say whether he should have thrown the pass.
I got you. But hey, can you at least acknowledge he missed the boat a little bit with Braun Strowman? Just a little bit. Just a little.
I mean, JJ Styles is accusing him of getting his boys taken out, Gallows and Anderson. So, I mean, you can throw a lot of blame around, but at the end of the day, people are not going to be perfect. They're going to have to make educated guesses, and they're going to have to make administrative decisions, just like Linda McMahon had to tell Jim Ross, hey, it ain't personal. We got to fire you, whatever. So, I mean, yeah, maybe it was an issue, but I'm not going to doubt this guy. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to talk about Paul Heyman guy. I'm not doing all that. I'm just telling you from a creative perspective, this guy is like he's got the mindset of a Gordon Soley and all these guys back in the day. And that's how I feel.
You're good. How about that holographic right there? We're wondering who he's going to bring up next. Who's he going to bring up next? I think you're right for the most part. He brings in the good talent. He pitches the good guys. And when he leaves, it looks like it left. Who did leave an alert? The guy didn't even get drafted. We talked about him last week.
Look, Anderson and Gallows, they're in the with Styles. I mean, everything they did in Japan is phenomenal, right? But unless you were watching satellite television or you go and watch you can't do videotapes anymore. So unless you're going to somehow get it on the internet or whatever, it's really hard to see their work. And they really, with all due respect, they didn't have a major influence in WWE. Was that their fault? Or was that Paul Heyman holding them back? I don't know. It's not for me to say. But the bottom line is, it's nice to have favor with this guy. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not saying, kiss ass, fist pass kind of crap. I can't stand that. Never did, never will. But I'm just saying, sometimes it's good to go out there and be seen, kind of like getting under the tutelage of Belichick or Saban or Sean Payton, guys like that, because they're proven winners. So sometimes it's good to get under the tutelage of the guy. You don't have to go out there and lick his ass. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the bottom line is you go out there and you work as hard as you can, and you hope that he sees you.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know what else to say about it.
You got it. You're putting that 90% there. Either way, let's jump on to the next one. Talk about something that possibly went a little south. I'm not sure it ever got off the ground. Speaking of WWE Raw Underground, I always was under the impression that was none other than Shane McMahon's brainchild. He was the voice of it. There he is right there. He was pitching it all. But you got none other than Ethan Carter III, EC3, who's now in Impact / Ring of Honor. He's the one that's claiming he's the one that came up with the idea of the Raw Underground, and he's giving you the lowdown on why he thinks it didn't work, because either way, it's over with on Raw. What did you think of Raw Underground? Did you like it?
I did like it. I did like it. But in terms of Ethan Carter, maybe he did do it. Maybe he didn't do it. If a tree falls in the forest in Oregon or Washington State, you're not there to see it. Well, I'd love to be, but I never will be able to go back again. Who knows if it fell or not? Hey, if he wants to take credit for taking it, so be it. I mean, Eric Bischoff says he was the one that invented what? What pay-per-view did Eric Bischoff invent?
The Elimination Chamber.
Correct. Which one did Chris Jericho invent?
Money in the Bank.
There you go. So you see, those two guys said that they invented these things. Well, Eric Bischoff and Y2J or Chris Jericho, they're no longer in WWE. EC3 is no longer in WWE. So bottom line is maybe they did do it, maybe they didn't do it, but they're not there now. So as far as the common person is concerned, if he wants to say that he takes credit for it, that's great, man. I like to take credit for the fact that I've done a lot of things in my life, but that don't mean anything unless you're there to prove it. I mean, it's like Buddy Sanjay used to say back when I was doing talk radio in Baton Rouge. It's a "What have you done for me lately?" society with the Janet Jackson town, and it's the same thing with this. I mean, these guys are not here to. I mean, if they want to say they did it, it's fine. But the bottom line is, none of those guys I just mentioned are no longer in WWE right now. So,
and most
I mean,
if you want,
it's great they want to claim they did it, but they're not there to back up their claim. You know.
Yeah, if you want to take credit for something, you're only going to take credit for something that's good. Like take credit for Money in the Bank. That's a great paper. You take credit for Elimination Chamber.
If it bothers him, if it bothers all those guys that much, and you know this, Jack. I mean, you and Puck, you guys are businessmen. You know this stuff. If it bothers them that much, there's a little thing called a TM trademark, you know, or restricted. You know, you could go and do something like that and trademark that name. Hey, all due respect to Cody Reynolds, what is he doing right now? Every sees a pay-per-view he likes from WCW that Vince has gobbled up yet, he's fighting like hell to trademark that because he wants that to be for AEW, right?
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. You wanted that bad, go trademark it. Go make it restricted or whatever the case may be. And then you can tell the whole world you did it.
All right. Next up in the dirt world, I'm not going to say this is dirt. This is just good news to me. It looks like the Undertaker is going to be sticking around a little bit longer because he's rumored to be there getting ready to kick off this 30 days of the Deadman or whatever, and it looks like that may climax at Survivor Series. So look for him to have a role in Survivor Series. You excited about that? Or are you ready to be done with him?
Let's see. Undertaker's coming back for a pay-per-view. Let's see. Coronavirus is widespread throughout the world. It takes an hour and a half to drive across the Mississippi Bridge, 20 miles from Plaquemine to Baton Rouge. LSU football team, you know, when you just do that, they're down, they come back and surprise you. Where else do we want to go with this? It's like, what else is? Oh, I'm sorry, another freaking hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. It is what it is. What else is new? Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
There you go.
Go Saints.
I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, this is probably the best thing I'm looking forward to on the WWE Network. That little 30 Days of Deadman. That series they had with him. Last Ride, that was a pretty good little thing going on, so that ought to be good either way. So look for Undertaker to be part of the Survivor Series pay-per-view that's out there in the news. Also, let's look at this real life tension. I had no idea Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle had this ongoing beef going on. And you ever heard that whole thing? You better be watching when you're back what you do because karma is you know what. Well, it looks like Matt Riddle has a little karma coming back on him because it looks like he's made the life hell for not only your guy right there, Seth Rollins, but he's done some stuff to Lesnar. He's done some stuff to Becky Lynch, his wife. There's Matt Riddle's wife right there. She had a comment about Becky Lynch's non-champion body. Either way, you're like, why are you even going there? And then on a side note, this is not part of this week's Dirt Show, but if you do the research back in the summer, you had Matt Riddle getting in trouble with some lady who was saying that he abused her or something. He had an affair on his wife, and all that came out. So it's like, man, karma.
Yeah, like my good buddy Brad, better karma. It happens all the time. Hope you're watching, Brad. You know what? I'm not a big country music fan. Never was. Everybody who knows me is I'm death metal to death. No pun intended. But the bottom line is there is a legend. And they always use that word legend so much, but there is a legend in the country music world. His name is Hank Williams Jr., the son of the almighty, one of the greatest country music crooners of all time, Hank Sr. Well, Hank Williams Jr. has a song, and I think the lyrics go, you better not be too quick to judge somebody because you just might end up with your foot in your mouth. I think that's how the lyrics go to that song. Can't judge a book by looking at the cover, I think it is. like I said, I'm not a country music aficionado, but I do like that song. And I would think I would take that to Mr. Riddle, and you better watch where you're at, brother, because it's hard to get in the WWE. It's hard to get wrestling anywhere, particularly the WWE, which is the top of the food chain. And if you come off right off the bat and you start having some problems with
locker room problems, that's never good.
Top tier talent like a Lesnar, like a Seth Rollins, it never, ever, ever, ever is going to work out for you again.
Well, either way, he calls himself the original bro. That ain't too original to be causing backstage heat amongst other wrestlers. That's no good. Hopefully he can fix that. On to story number 8 in the dirt.
I do respect him, though. I mean, he's an MMA athlete. He has incredible physique. He's got incredible talent. Have you seen some of the moves he does in that ring? I mean, it's very a normal person's not going to do that. So I'm going to give that man all the credit in the world. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. He's athletic, very well built. The fact that he can wrestle without shoes on. We go back to the Von Erichs, Kevin Von Erich doing that back in the day, and Superfly Snuka, God bless him, and Rusev did it for a little while before he had to put the boots on. So, and there's a lot of others I'm forgetting. I know I am. But I mean, it's even more difficult to wrestle without having shoes on because you balance, and it's just not the way you normally would work. So, and you can see how good condition he and his wife are in. So, hey, that's great. But sometimes it's good to kind of, if you got something to say, maybe sometimes it's good to keep it on the down low. I learned a lot of things in life that's called the KISS syndrome, and I'm not talking about Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter, Chris, and Ace. I'm talking about keep it simple, stupid, and maybe that's kind of what you need to do. Just keep it on the down low.
Yeah, on the down low. On to the next bit of dirt. We got Vince McMahon bringing back a banned move. We've been talking about recently. It's been a few weeks since we talked about wrestlers that wrestle stiff. You got Seth Rollins. We immediately went to Seth Rollins. We went to Nia Jax. Apparently, this move called the Buckle Bomb is back, and it's not banned. And you saw this pass on SmackDown. Seth Rollins did it to your Buddy Murphy. Look at that one right there with Nia Jax try to do the Buckle Bomb right there to Kairi Singh. Look at that right there. Whoop, all the way down to the bottom rope.
I'll tell you what, if you're going to do a move like that, you're going to do a move like a spike pile driver, you're going to do a 450 splash or any kind of these top rope senton splashes and falcon arrows and all these crazy moves like that, you better damn well know what you're doing. Because if you get people that have a reputation like, no disrespect, but Nia Jax, who's got a reputation of being a sloppy worker and things like that, if you're going to do something like that, which it's the reason why it's called high risk. People can sit there and talk about how wrestling's fake and all, and I still think you're full of dog, what starts with an S and ends with a T. And the bottom line is, you go tell these guys if that is, I think that's where he messed up his arm and had to lose the NXT championship right there, or it may have been when he won not the NXT but the actual Universal Championship, I believe, is whenever that move happened with Finn Balor. You go tell him how fake that stuff is. So if you're going to do moves like that in the heat of the moment, it has to be very well. I don't want to say practice, but it needs to be a good formula involved with it. But hey, accidents happen. Look what happened with Waddle yesterday with Alabama. I mean, opening play of the game, he could easily down it because he's an athlete on the greatest football team of all time. He wants to run it out, and just like what happened to Dak Prescott, God bless him, he ends up breaking an ankle. Things happen like that. It's a physical sport.
Yeah.
And you take that gamble. But again, yeah, wrestling is not fake. We know it's not fake. But the most important rule of wrestling is you got to take care of your opponent. Your opponent takes care of you. And as long as you have that connection together, you have a Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, you're going to make millions of dollars, and you do quite well for yourself.
Yeah, but the second you don't got your buddies back, it's trouble. Just run down that bucket bomb. Who is hurt? Sting, he never wrestled again in WWE after that one.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, he had just won the Universal Championship. He was the first Universal Champion. He was out for about a year, it seemed like. You got right there, Kairi Singh. She went back to China.
Yeah.
And then look at you had Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler he is the mountain man. I mean, he's like that guy never goes out with an injury, it seems like. But either way, I'm not so sure why they're allowing that move to come back because that seemed to be pretty dangerous. But I guess maybe he wants to make it more extreme. Who knows? But either way, let's get on with the more dirt. This is more in the rumor section. We've got Hell in the Cell rumors, things that could possibly happen. There we go right there. Rumors of the week. This week we're looking at Hell in the Cell, things that could happen on tonight's card. We're looking at possibly The Fiend. He currently was not on the card for tonight, but he had the run-in where he took out by himself all of the members of Retribution. So does he have a plan for Retribution at Hell in a Cell?
I think he's got a plan for Retribution every day he's on television, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or Hell in a Cell, or whatever pay-per-view it is. We said this last week. We'll continue to say it until we're proven wrong. The cash cows of Raw is Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss' sister Abigail. The cash cow of SmackDown is Roman Reigns, and that's how it's going to be until things change. And I don't know if they're going to change for quite some time because those three individuals are red hot right now.
No doubt. No doubt. So also, let's look at some possible things that could happen tonight. I'm thinking possibly some big title change right there. Could Randy Orton be looking at that tonight like that?
You know, we talked about this last week. I'm going to say it again. I did not change my mind in the past 7 days. If Randy Orton is not winning the belt tonight, I don't know if he ever is going to win the belt. What would it be, his 14th time?
Yep.
Or 15th? I think it's 14th. I don't know if he'll ever win the belt again if he doesn't win tonight. I mean it.
He's prime.
I just think they're going to keep, pushing it back. It's like the old LSU defense, pushing back, way back. Where he keeps getting pushed back. When's he ever going to come forward?
Yeah.
We go from Janet Jackson to Paula Abdul, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You ain't ever gonna get nowhere like that.
What kind of music do you listen to? I don't even know what you're talking about. I thought you were a headbanger.
Well, because I did work in radio for 17 or so years, I do have to, unfortunately, acknowledge some of the experience I've incurred in my career.
Well, speaking of another title change, could Bayley be losing it tonight to Sasha Banks? Could that be the look tonight?
I would love to see a double title change with Sasha getting it and Randy getting it, but normally double title changes are reserved for something really huge, like they say in Houston. The H is silent. Huge. It's right. Something huge that happens, and that would have to be like WrestleMania or something like that. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see a double title change. I'd love to see both the Hell in a Cell matches come up with new champions. That would be my perfect event, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
All right. How about this one possible? Could Charlotte Flair be coming back?
I haven't read anything about her health. It would be a perfect time for it would be great. And I think I know exactly where you're going with this. Sasha ends up getting the win tonight. Charlotte Flair comes in and beats her butt, and just dominance. That would be phenomenal.
Well, when you said
but it would.
You were like wondering about her condition. Go back one, Mr. Punk. That's like in the last week. I'm thinking she's in pretty good shape. So right there, 8 weeks off in the gym, ready to find her groove again. Just looking at that, looks like she's got the groove. Maybe she shows up tonight. If she does, we planted the seed at the Ringside Wrangler Dirt Sheet Report.
Or they may just hold her and to make an appearance at the Royal Rumble.
Could be. Well, that was the rumor all along, but I'm thinking they need her sooner than later. That's just me.
I agree.
Who knows? All right, let's go to the Hell in a Cell card. We'll go to the top. I'm guessing there's probably going to be some kind of kickoff match, some female. Who knows what's going to go on with that? But either way, the straight up card, it's tonight on the WWE Network at 6 o'clock. We're about an hour and 36 minutes from now. Like you said, 36 minutes from now, the kickoff show. Hell in a Cell right there. Otis versus The Miz. We knew this is the route it was going to go. You can't imagine Otis ever cashing in that Money in the Bank. You knew ultimately he was going to end up in a match where he's got to fight to keep the Money in the Bank briefcase. Do you think Miz takes the briefcase tonight?
No, I don't.
No,
because I don't think that they're done with Otis yet. They had the whole reason why they broke up Heavy Machinery, or they're supposed to be broken up, just like they broke up the New Day. They were supposed to be broken up, is because they want to have one person kind of be a single and push them out. And I think Otis was supposed to get that spotlight, which is the whole thing with the Mandy Rose love triangle or angle, rather. And he hasn't had a chance to do it yet. JBL, who was the judge, did a really good job on SmackDown, basically said the truth is, whenever you win the Hell in a Cell, you are not contractually obliged to cash it in until the 365th day, and it's been nowhere near 365 days since he's cashed it in. So legally, he has no reason to lose that briefcase. He doesn't.
Yep, that's a good point. Good point. Next match. Did you know Elias was back? Elias is going against Jeff Hardy. What do you think of that match?
I think about this one just like I do with Randy Orton. If they put Jeff Hardy over Elias, which I think they're going to do, then I don't know what that means for Elias, man. I don't know what it means for him.
Yeah.
He's kind of been, God, I hate to say a whipping boy, so to speak, because he's got a tremendous, I mean, he's got really good talent. He's a good athlete. There's no doubt about it. Really good shape. He's a decent wrestler, a lot better than I ever could dream of doing. Very good musician, which I appreciate. I know Mr. Punk likes that too. But I don't know. Again, Jeff Hardy's another one that they were supposed to have this big push for. So that's the case, and they follow the storylines. Then Otis should go over and keep his Money in the Bank briefcase to keep that push going, and Jeff Hardy ought to get his push, which means that Elias gets thrown on the side.
All right.
Again.
Well, we'll see what happens with that one. Can't make a pick on that one. It wouldn't surprise me either way. Then you've got the Bayley and Banks match. We already talked about that. That ought to be good. Ought to be tight. I'm hoping Sasha Banks wins.
I don't think Sasha's going to win. I'm pulling for her to win. I don't think she's going to win because I can see this coming like a series of rematches, kind of like the I talked about Steamboat and Flair, how they used to have these series of matches whenever they would win, and the best of 7 series kind of thing, and they'd win, and then the next guy would win, and the next guy would win. You know, they'd flip the championship like a flapjack, like with Big E, pancake, and yep. I can see this probably happening all the way up to Royal Rumble, hell, maybe into WrestleMania. I would love to see Sasha win, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yep, well, we'll see. Then we've got the Randy Orton Drew McIntyre match.
Same scenario. Randy Orton, if he doesn't win tonight, when's he ever going to win? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And again, I want to see. I will come out and state straight up. I want to see Sasha Banks win. I want to see Randy win. I want to see a double championship title change in the respective Hell in a Cell cages. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
All right. How about Jey Uso, Roman Reigns?
I think Jay is going to put in a good match because he certainly has proven that he can do it. He's not going to go out there and be our favorite term, an enhanced talent, because he's nowhere near that. He's way better than that. But I do expect Roman to beat the living hell out of him and continue as the cash cow of SmackDown, like Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, and Sister Abigail, Alexa Bliss, are the cash cows of Raw.
So Jey Uso is going to be saying, "I quit."
Now, does that mean he's going? If that does happen and they end up disowning Naomi and Jay and Jimmy and all the rest of those guys, that would be. I'd love to see how they're going to pull that off. And believe me, if you got this guy right here, the bald-headed man right there, the Walrus, if you got him involved with anything, his could be phenomenal how they're going to pull that off. Because if you let his brain talent, he'll find a way to make it work. I told you, this guy's a diamond in the rough.
You got it. All right, so here we are. I'm with the backdrop of Hell in a Cell. We're psyched about it. We're about 30 minutes from it kicking off. Check out the show. You know there's going to be some pre-card matches. It ought to be good. Hell in a Cell, WWE Network, 6 Eastern kickoff show. Any final remarks, Punk or Haz-Bin?
You know, traditionally, Hell in a Cell is a really good match. It's kind of like the Royal Rumble. It has a lot of excitement. Everyone loves the Royal Rumble because the excitement factor, not knowing who's going to be there, last second rumors, people coming in with covers over their face and they got a whole bed sheet over a golf cart, bringing them in the backstage arena where no one can see them. So all the jerks like us on the dirt sheets come in and report everything. Well, that's, so be it. And Hell in a Cell is kind of like that too. It's a very brutal pay-per-view. They always say that whenever you get in that cell, it changes you forever. And I think it's going to be a really good match. But honestly, I'll be very glad for it to end. Because I don't know about you, but I'm really, really, really getting tired for the past 4 or 5 weeks every Monday hearing, "Randy, I'm going to take you to hell, Randy. Randy, I'm going to take you to hell, Randy." I'm getting kind of tired of hearing that. So it'll be good just to get it over with, and let's just see what goes with it.
All righty. I'm Jack Joel. This has been the Ringside Wrangler Dirt Sheet. That has been. We come here weekly with the dirt, covering the news from pro wrestling. Tonight's the night. Hell in a Cell. Check it out. Check out WWE Network. Check out Impact. Check out AEW. AEW is tight. We love the show. Not a lot of news coming out of AEW this week. We had Jim Ross on at the beginning, but either way, I'm Jack Shaw. This is Dirt Sheet. We are out. Have a good weekend later. Bye.